Now that we've completed our edit, one thing every edit needs is a title. To add a title, the first thing you have to do is find the place in your edit that you want to add that title. If it's just over black, then I will have to push everything on my timeline out of the way, just like this, and find that black space, or maybe it's at the end. In this case, I'm going to put it on top of some actual video that's part of my project. So find that spot that you want to add that title, put your playhead over it. So let's say I want to have it right here, and then hit Command T on the keyboard. Command T. And that'll open up this new title window. And in here, it'll give you video settings. I want you guys to get really used to reading things in Premiere. If something pops up with a menu, make sure that you understand what it's saying and what it's telling you. In this case, it's just giving me the same video parameters as my sequence. So it's saying it's creating a title frame. It's going to be 1920 by 1080 and 24p. And then down here, I can give it a name. So I'm going to go ahead and call that the main title. And then click OK. Okay, now it'll open up this titling window, and this is super easy to use. Basically, as long as you're on the text tool here, right, this little button here is our text tool, I can take that and click anywhere in my frame, and I can type out my title. So I'm just going to call this leverage. All right, and then once I have it typed, if I'm not happy with the placement of that title, I can come up here, switch to my selection tool, right? Type tool, selection tool, click on that, and now when I click and drag, it'll actually move that around, and I can put it in a place in my frame that might be a little more appropriate than the spot I chose originally. I can also, if I come back to my type tool, highlight that, right? You can double click to highlight, or click and hit Command A, that'll highlight, or click and drag to highlight. Once you highlight that, I can come up here and I've got all these font choices, so I can choose the font that I feel most represents my project. I can also install new fonts. I'm going to go ahead and pick Ping Fang because I like the name. And that's a nice thin font. And then I can come back to my selection tool and put it in a better spot. I can also change the size of my text by coming up here to my text sizing area, and right now it's at 100%, and I can just click and hold and then drag that, and it'll increase my font or decrease it if I want to go smaller instead of bigger. So let's go ahead and make it so it kind of fills out her jacket there. 103, not a big change. All right, then I can click off of that. Once I'm happy with the placement of my title in my frame, all I have to do is close this window. When you close this window, nothing will be lost. Everything will be there. So just click on the X, and down here in your project window, you'll see I have this title called main title. Now to actually add that to my timeline, I have to click on that, drag it, and put it on a track above my actual videos. So at the very, very top. Okay, if I put it on track 1, that'll be an overwrite edit. I don't want to do that because then all I have is my title over here. I want to take it and put it on track 2 above my video, and now you see I have that title there on her jacket. And once it's on the timeline, and this will act just like any other clip in Premiere. So if it's too long, which it is, I only want it over my first clip here. I just have to take my selection tool to the end and trim that back. And now it's only as long as my first clip. And I can also add cross dissolves to that, right? I can fade it in and fade it out. This is going to be a little quick because it's not very long, but just for the sake of argument, let's go ahead and do that. And now it'll fade in and it'll fade out. If you want to change that, maybe I misspelled something, or I wanted to say a different thing than it does, or maybe I changed the title of my piece in the middle of my edit, all I have to do is double click on it, and it'll reopen that exact same text window, and I can change that text. So pretty easy stuff. One word of warning, do not use any of these title styles down here. These are all terrible. It's like word art in Microsoft Word, and it's bad. All these are bad. Don't use these. Come up here to our actual titling drop down and take a look at all the different kinds of titles up here and use those instead. One other kind of title that you probably want to create is credits. So at the end of my piece, let's say, that's the end, it's the end of my short film, I want to credit everyone who was a part of it. Start the exact same way, hit Command T. I'm going to call this one credits. And this time, instead of doing just a normal click and type textual thing, I'm going to come up here to my roll/crawl options. And when I click on that, it'll pop up with this window. Right now, my title type is still, and I want that to roll. Once I click on roll, all these options down here turn on. And I also want to click start off screen and end off screen. So what's that saying is that at the start of my rolling credits, no title is going to be on screen, and they're going to scroll past, and at the end, they're going to completely scroll off the screen. So kind of like normal classic scrolling credits that you would see in any movie or TV show. Go ahead and click OK on that, and now when I type, I can type my name. I can type some other people's names. Let's just say that this was made by a bunch of people at the school. So let's do Mr. Coleus. Let's do Mrs. Akashi. Whoops. Akashi. Let's do Mrs. Manning. All right. Mr. Moon. And Mrs. Tipping. All right. So let's say it was made by everyone in the art department, right? That's all of us. And that's all my credits. One other thing that you might notice is that it is sort of left justified here. To center that, you'll notice up here you've got things to change your justification, just like Microsoft Word. And I can click on center, and now it's center justified. If I want to change my spacing in between each line, I can do two things. I can just hit enter in between each one, or I can also come up here to my line spacing, and that will just spread out each clip, each a piece of text, I mean. So this is all one title, right? After each name, I hit enter, and it created a new line. I typed a new name, created a new line, etc., etc., etc. And you'll notice it goes off screen here. That's okay, because it's going to scroll past. Next thing I'm going to do is make sure it's centered on my video, or on my frame. Put it about right there, and then close that window. And now you'll see for my main title, it had this little, text JPEG graphic icon. And because this is a scrolling credit, it actually has a video icon, because it is a piece of video, right? Because it is going to scroll. And when I drag that onto the end of my project and play that through, it'll scroll through all the names. It started off screen and it's ending off screen. Okay, now that was kind of fast, right? Kind of hard to read what it was saying. To slow this down, this will only work on titles because of that start on screen, end off screen option. If I just drag this out and extend it, it's still going to start off screen and end off screen, so it's just going to slow the whole thing down. So if I play it now, right, now it's playing at a more reasonable speed, probably a little slow now, just going to bring that in. All right, and that looks about good. Okay, so two types of titles you can create in Premiere, a still title and a rolling title. That's basically all you need for now. So go ahead and make sure that your promo has a main title and add credits to it as well.